There's a momentary wonder, but the gift is mine to keep. A silent new awakening in a valley, drifting off to sleep. I thanked God that I should be here in an open, quiet place where heaven could reach out and be in me. Where I was standing, oh, what a light, taking me up upon its landing. Here inside, the grace of God expanding through my heart. What a light over Sherman speak tonight.
Go ahead and take a seat for a minute. Hi. This is already not as fun as I thought it might be. Our speaker today has been called more names than God, some of which I cannot share with you from the stage. Like those names of God, not one of them describes the whole being that is. They all describe a facet, but not the whole essence of Donald. There is a term, and there is a couple of words that describe him completely that I have not heard anyone use. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This is not an introduction. It's an explanation. Over the last year, I have heard from most of you at one time or another one of the following questions. The first one is, what is Donald doing? And my favorite, what is Donald thinking? And I have given answers that have been not totally accepted. It seems the answers to those questions are rather elusive. They're mysterious. Donald remains a little bit of an enigma. Yes, and those answers are shrouded in secrecy. Now, every organization, every spiritual community has their own secrets. And we have ours, I guess. Regardless of your spiritual tradition, most people have the same general experience. And we start out as initiates, and we're full of curiosity and questions. We pursue that with learning, with study, with practice. We grow in our power and knowledge. And a few years after we're pretty sure we know everything, the light comes on, and we're like, wow, here's the key to the whole thing. And we run out to tell everybody, look, I've got the key to the whole thing, anxious to share, only to find that someone else has carved it in stone hundreds of years earlier. Well, many years ago, Reverend Donald, in his endless search for succinctness, distilled our whole philosophy, distilled our whole purpose for meeting and being, and distilled his mission as a minister into 2 words. And he wrote them down, and he put it out where everybody could see it. And we've seen it so much for so long, we don't really even see it anymore. And we say it all the time, but I'm not sure we hear it. But when we use those 2 words, it answers those 2 questions. What is Donald thinking, and what is Donald doing? I could tell you what those words are, but I won't. But I bet I can make you say them. The two words are the name of our website, www. That's right. And when you say spiritually free, then you understand Donald. You get Donald. Everything he does, he might be pulling you, he might be pushing you. He's not afraid to poke. He's not afraid to prod. What he wants you to do is shake off those old beliefs so he can liberate you to your full spiritual freedom. I like to think of those as Donald's first words. Here to present his last words, let's show some appreciation for the spiritually free Reverend Donald Graves.
Thank you. I almost entitled today's talk Final Words, but it was so terminal. But if this was my final words, those final words would be, I love you. But since it's not my final words, I have a few more things to say. And if today gets in your face, then I will have accomplished part of my spiritual freedom is to express my understanding of the truth as soon as I get what it is. And sometimes it comes at the very last moment. So this month is about completion. And I had sort of a précis about what completion was going to be about, and then this morning it changed. And since I claim spiritual freedom, I changed it. And so what you're looking at is that change. It's a quote of Ernest Holmes. The original spirit is harmony. How often do we make it up otherwise? It is beauty and truth and everything that goes with ultimate reality. The universe is not divided against itself. But man, we sure can do a great job of it, can't we? See, it's all God. Everything is God. All the essence and all the structure and all of the results. It's God. We make up everything else. I mean, I think it's kind of ironic. Years and years and years ago when I realized it's all God and that we made God up. And now God's the creator, but it's the chicken and the egg. And I'm going to take full credit that we started that whole process and completely muffed it up. Instead of simply claiming those final words, I love you, because I know my wholeness, I know your wholeness, end of story. Those would be my final words. My last words begin with, one of the great challenges of New Thought is to continually realize that everything and everyone is already whole and already free, regardless of appearances or our beliefs. See, we can believe we're enslaved, and all it does is affect our experience. It doesn't change the fact that we're free to believe that we're enslaved. That's what I love about this philosophy. Yesterday, day before, a couple of days ago, whenever it was, happened to drive by Tracy Aviary. And I thought about Jen. And I thought about Michael. And I thought about Rick. And I thought about, God, what was her name? The alto. Yeah, Anne, thank you. And so I thought about those people who Rick organized and created Sugar House Voices, this marvelous a cappella group. And that was in the past. And it was the most sweetest thing, really, to hear these voices in harmony singing these songs, some of them fun and from the past, and some of them new and written by the individuals of the group. And to flash on Tracy Aviary and remember all of those people and how they used to come and sing for us here at the center. And how when there were 60 people showing up on 9th East, and all of a sudden we moved to Midvale, and there are 225 people showing up on Sunday, and we're having so dang much fun, it was sinful in some people's estimation. But we laughed more than I can remember, truly. That still lives here. That still lives here, and it lives here because of that final word, I love you. Regardless of appearances or beliefs, we are whole. So some reminders from earlier this year. First of all, when the light's outside, we can be blinded by it, and if we turn away from it, we see the shadows. Everything in our world is feedback about the consciousness that created it. Everything. So if we feel disharmony because consciousness is in disharmony, somehow we are thinking that way. We're buying into that. And we tend to find that which we expect to find. So, 3 guys are out walking along, and they come to a riverbank, this roaring river, and they all 3 need to get to the other side of the river. And so this one guy gets this bright idea, and he says, "Dear God, please, God, make me strong enough to get across this river." And poof, God answers his prayer. He made his arms big and strong, his legs powerful, and he swam across the river in about 3 hours. The second guy saw what the first guy did, and he says, "I'm in. Please, God, make me strong and able to get across that river." And poof, God answered his prayer. Gave him a rowboat and 2 oars, and he rowed across the river in about 2 hours. The third guy sees this and goes, but he was a religious scientist. So he gave his affirmative prayer. He didn't ask God, he claimed it. He said that infinite power, that infinite presence, that infinite intelligence that fills the universe, fills me, I now know I easily move across that river. And poof, his prayer manifest, as all affirmative prayers do. They manifest. It demonstrated. And he became a she, and she looked at the map and walked across the bridge and got there in a half hour. Bet you didn't see that one coming, did you? This is something that came to me a long time ago. I might have heard it in part from someone else. I don't recall, but I'm taking credit. A person who is always in a hurry proves that they believe what they are about is bigger than they are. I'm going to leave that up there for a while because it deserves some thought. It also applies and is true. A person who runs from their past, has fear about some belief that has lived in them, is concerned and avoidant of aspects of their life, prove in those demonstrations that that which they look at is bigger than they are. And we know in truth that's not possible. We can believe that they are and the experience is consistent. But that thing, no thing is bigger than we are. We live as God, as the infinite, as the power, as the intelligence. We exist as the very presence itself. So if you catch yourself trying to run from something or speeding around so fast that you can't figure out what's going on and you have to keep busy to avoid your past or your mind or whatever, think about this. In that act, we're proving that we believe, not that it's so, but that we believe that that thing, that event, that past, that void, that noise is bigger than we are. Because everything manifests consistent with the consciousness that causes it to be that way. Remember, life is perfect. Everything is perfect based on the consciousness that caused it to be that way. So if you have some situation in your life, that's the cool thing. You can change your experience of it. And amazingly, most times that thing changes. And if not externally out there with the rest of the people, it changes for us. And all of a sudden, we're back in harmony, which is the truth of us. So the original idea of this being a harmonious universe and complete as is, perfect, nothing missing, as the theme for this month of December. Have you ever finished a job? Have you ever finished a project, some painting, or anything? Have you ever finished something you were working on and noticed that sense of satisfaction, or what you might call, you might even call it gratitude, but whatever that is, that sense of, all is good, all is right, everything is in harmony. That sense of completion that you feel is because you're actually in an experience that is consistent with the nature of the cosmos, of the universe. We come into alignment with the universe, feeling that harmony, and what we've done is feel so good because we're in harmony with the harmony of the universe. The same is true with regard to knowing, deeply knowing. I mean, this is one way of knowing. This is also one way of knowing. We need to know both oneness. That I look out there and I see me as you. Not projecting upon you, but I see me as you. One person defined, I'm not remembering his name, he defined maturity as that marvelous paradox of individuality and dependency, where I remain me, you remain you, and we depend upon each other to become more of who we already are. I love that imagery. That means nobody's putting anybody down. Everybody is saying, wow, that's me over there acting like that. Ugh. Well, do I want to run from it and prove that I think it's bigger than me? Or go, there's a power and intelligence in me, and let that transform, let it transmute my thoughts that I'm less than that. That's what this teaching is all about. That's what this community is all about. Oh, so when people go through challenges, personally or in their family, we can know for them their ease and harmonious flow. And that choice, that spiritual freedom that already exists for each of us, and we can go over and give them that warm, sincere hug and say, I love you. I'm there with you. And that's what makes this work. That's what makes this a true center. It's those centers within this center that make this the center. Ernest Holmes, if we believe that it will not work, it really works by appearing to not work. When we believe that it cannot and will not, then according to the principle, it does not. But when it does not, it still does, and it does according to our belief that it will not. Okay, so now that we've played that little word game, this is one of my favorite quotes in the Science of Mind. Absolutely one of my favorite quotes, because it says principle produces results consistent with that which we put in. Whatever we put into it, that's what principle produces. So if our disbelief is really the belief that it won't work, congratulations. So when you have something screw up, you can go, wow, I did that. Be proud of it. This morning, the alarm went off at 5 o'clock, and Jan and I knew that we had all sorts of stuff. We had to get ready, get the coach ready, get over here. We needed to get gas. And we ran out of propane about 3 o'clock this morning. It was 24 degrees outside. It was 24 degrees inside. Shower? We didn't have any propane for the hot water heater in the rig. It was great. And we did that. And went someplace to get propane, and it wasn't open yet. So we went and had breakfast. That was a treat. And then we went and found propane, got propane, and then we went and got fuel, so the rig is full. And then we came over here and we hooked up the Jeep to the rig, and it's ready. And we're like, and all this preparation that I had planned for today, this morning. And fortunately, somebody comes up here and says I'm spiritual free, so I get to make it up however I want, don't I? Just like you do. Every single time, every moment of your day, you get to make it up like you want to. Now, this is an important thing to remember, and I'll give you a little backstory, and then we'll share the quote together, because it's something we need to affirm and realize and keep in our forebrains all the time. I was in Las Cruces, New Mexico. I'd been there in my first pulpit probably maybe 6 months or so, and I got a call from a woman in Florida saying, you know, this thing's been pounding on my head that I'm supposed to move to Las Cruces, New Mexico. And she said, why? And I said, I don't know. Why? And she said, well, I don't know. I just keep getting this impression that I'm supposed to move to Las Cruces, that somehow I'm going to find my mate there. I'm going to have a glorious and rich life there. And I said, yeah, okay, so come on. What? Why aren't you moving here? And she said, well, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. So for a moment of inspiration, I reached over, I opened the Science of Mind. I opened it to page 282. The fourth paragraph jumped out because it was in all bold or all capital letters. To desert the truth in the hour of need is to prove that we do not know the truth. And I saw that and I thought, she needs to hear this. So I said, I just opened the book, 282.4. Do you have one? I do. Go get it. So we read that quote together. Let's share this quotation together. To desert the truth is to desert the truth in the hour of the need is to prove that we do not know the truth. Just like the person who runs and is crazy busy all the time, they're proving that they think what they're about is bigger than they are. To desert the truth when we most need it proves that we just don't know the truth. It's great feedback. And it's only feedback. Because that means we're using the power, we're using the intelligence to run rather than using the power and using the intelligence to figure out what to do. To go and find some propane and eat some breakfast that somebody else cooked and clean up their own dishes and we don't have to clean them, and then we just come over here and chill for a little bit and come in and smile and get hugged and love on people and get loved on and make it up so that it works for you. People, the infinite universe gave you a deck of cards. Stack it. Stack that deck in your favor. Stack it for joy. Stack it for love. Stack it for prosperity. Stack it for the all good that awaits its own recognition. Now, here's a really important piece to be aware of as well. I'm reading a series right now by Neil Shusterman called Scythe. The Ark of Scythe is the name of the series. And I'm in the second book called The Thunderhead, which is basically an AI that manages everything on the planet. Now, this is not a dystopian story. This is a story where a computer was given governance over the planet. And this computer is actually beneficent. And so there are these revival centers. You never have to die. You keep living. And so the scythes were created to maintain the population, and they go out and they kill people. Randomly. Kind of like how it seems to us when people die. They go out and they kill people. Hi, I'm Scythe Graves, and I'm here to end you. They call it gleaning instead of death, because if you get injured or something, then the Thunderhead sends the rescue people. They take you to the revival center. And so even though in today's world you would be dead, the revival center can revive you with a few exceptions that they cannot do that. And so you're known as deadish. You're just deadish instead of dead, unless you want to be. And then you have to do these certain things that the Revival Center cannot recover. So there's a line in that book that the Thunderhead wrote. The Thunderhead keeps a diary, and Schusterman lets us in on the diary. And there's this line in there that caught my attention, so I've paraphrased it for consideration this morning. There's a fine line between freedom and permission. The latter is dangerous. Really let that land. Permission is dangerous. Freedom gives rise to growth and enlightenment. Permission allows evil to flourish in a light of day that would otherwise destroy it. Now that deserves some consideration. First of all, evil. I use Jung's definition of evil, militant ignorance, where we keep ourselves or other people ignorant of the truth that you already are whole. You have access to the power, the intelligence of the infinite all the time, and you live in choice because you are spiritually free. That's the truth. And when we deny ourselves that truth, then we're keeping ourselves ignorant of the truth, and subsequently we're practicing evil on ourselves. If we keep someone else ignorant, that's evil in the external world. So that's why the word evil is in there. Permission allows evil to flourish in a light of day that would otherwise destroy it. So that light of day is when you tell your truth and you tell it fast. I don't like how that feels. I need to think about it. Give me a day or two and I'll get back with you. Hear, hear. Right on. Freedom requires authority, responsibility, and accountability. Freedom is not license. Doesn't mean you get to go around and do whatever you want. That's not freedom. I discovered that freedom was my first value. You're going to love this. You know how we all have a past? While I was in the brig in Vietnam, that's when I discovered freedom was my highest priority, and I would never let myself be incarcerated again, period. I'd even clean up my act if I had to. A little. Freedom requires responsibility and accountability. That's why freedom gives us the rise to growth and enlightenment. It gives us a chance to learn and expand. Permission, you have to ask for that. So you're denying your power, you're denying your intelligence, and you're laying it on someone else. Never do that to yourself. So here's pretty much the punchline. Joan Osborne, what if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us? Just a stranger on the bus trying to make his way home? See, I know, and there are many of you here know, here everybody in this room knows, and some know it here too, that you are God expressing. You are God called by your name with the individual gifts, talents, skills, and abilities that only you truly have in that particular combination. No one else looks like you. No one else acts like you, talks like you. That's uniquely you. And that is your spiritual obligation, I believe, and your spiritual freedom to be able to manifest and to present that to the rest of the world. In fact, I would love it if each of you did that more, so that you put all the considerations out of the way and just give us you in all of your beauty and all of your glory and all of your glory, whatever that is for you as you continue to grow and evolve around the rest of us. So I leave you with a parting question. Are you about finding and revealing who you really are? Are you? Are you about that? Then walk into it. Run into it if you want, but certainly leave anything less than that behind. It's in the past. It doesn't belong here now. Are you about finding and revealing who you really are? I trust you are. That's what this center is about, and that's why it continues to grow and evolve, and that's why so many of you actively engage in it, and that's why also I know that it steps every single moment more fully into its success. Bless you. Let's pray together. So recognizing that power that fills and moves the universe, that intelligence that orders the universe and shows up as beauty and harmony, the very presence itself, so that each person feels that power, feels that intelligence, and claims an individual expression of it. So I know that each of these words spoken this morning must come into form, must come into expression, because that's the law. What a brilliant gift and a beautiful gift we've given ourselves, this thing called law. It supports and sustains each. It brings the harmony, it brings the abundance, it brings the health and well-being and wholeness. So I know each of these words comes into form. So as these individual words continue to be spoken, I know for each person, the speaker and the listener, that wholeness comes into full expression, into full experience for everyone. I also know for everyone in this beloved community that sense of harmony and joy, that sense of infinite good settles into every cell of the body, unavoidably bringing smiles to the faces, hugs to the arms, love from the heart. So feeling rejuvenated, feeling renewed, because I know this treatment, this prayer always comes fulfilled. I too let that smile rise on my face, the cheeks raise, the body lifts, it lightens, the mind calms, and I feel a deep sense of peace and ease and release. So I let this process go, I let the words go, and I let each person step back into the flow. In affirmation of this, together we affirm it by saying, and so it is.